Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. I'm Maravox, and in today's video, we're going to be completing Agent of Mischief's Tiny Shell Challenge. If you are not aware of what a shell challenge is, basically the challenger will create the shell of a house, so it's exterior walls. Occasionally they will add interior walls, but there's only one rule to this challenge. Do not touch the challenger's walls. The first shell challenge I did for her was a really large shell, and in the video I complain about how big it is and how much I don't like big builds. So she made this tiny one for me, with me in mind, literally referenced me in her post, and yeah, so basically called me out, said, hey, I made a small shell for you, you should make this one now. So here I am making this tiny house shell, and it did have enough tiles, like the actual shell had enough tiles to be qualified as a tiny house, but because I add, all of this exterior living space, I've got pretty much a wraparound porch downstairs and a wraparound balcony upstairs. All of this extra living space, it took it out of the tiny home, like residential style or what category, whatever that is. I can't remember what they're called. So you'll see up top of the screen where it's that red bar is, it's yelling at me saying, you've got too many tiles. Well, yeah, I know. It's no longer a tiny build because I added all this extra living space. So anyway, here we go. I decided also not to have a roof on this because the shape of it was really strange, and roofing is hard enough as it is. Sims 4 doesn't have auto roof, and I kind of miss it for builds like this because I have no idea what to do with this kind of shape. So I'm just like, well, guess I'm just not going to put a roof on. So instead, I made this more of a modern build, but it's also kind of fairy tale secret garden-y. As you can see, I'm starting to add vegetation to that little outcropping there. Yeah, so instead of having a roof, I decide to just put grass down on top and call it a day. Right now I'm trying to figure out the downstairs kind of floor plan, so I'm putzing around with the bathroom. That little room there's the bathroom, and as I messed around with that room, it got rid of my stairs, which was really annoying, so I had to add those back. Now, I don't know if Agent of Mischief had designed that long wall to be where the stairs were supposed to go, and if the kitchen was also supposed to go on that long wall, I don't know. But where I put the kitchen and where I put where I put the stairs and where I put the bathroom kind of messed up how I could have placed the kitchen. So the kitchen is kind of in a little cramped space, which you'll see in a little bit. So right now I'm adding more plants to this. I added a lot of plants. This build is so many plants. I do cut out some of the plants because it's like some of the landscaping, because it was a lot of landscaping. And I mean, you just don't need to sit here for, I don't even know how long it would have been watching me place the same plants. I do use like 4 or 5 plants. So they're repeated, but they're repeated in a way that is more random. So it's not like all of the yellow ones go here, all of these go here, so they're placed in a way that it's not like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. It makes it look more natural. And honestly, I feel like more magical. So that bush, that little Simsy, I learned this trick from her. She had that little bush that kind of shows where the boundaries of her garden is going to be. I use that trick now, but that's what I used up top. And basically that's what the roof is. It's just grass with a bunch of flowers on it, which I think is really cool. I also, for interior design, went different than my usual. My usual is kind of dark flooring, dark panel flooring, so like wood flooring, with kind of a gray wall. Now, my walls are still gray, but they're more of a lilac-y, periwinkle, purple gray. So it's got some purple hints in it. But the floor also has purple hints in it. It's gray, but it's got purple and pink and blue hints in it. So it had a bunch of color that I could kind of pick and choose for my interior decorating. Now I am figuring out the exterior walls, and that took me a little while because modern house builds are really hard to figure out for exterior walls. It's not the same all the way around. They have accent walls. And I mean, a lot of houses have that, but I mean, there are some that don't. It's just, you pick a panel and shift click and there you go. That's all it is. You end up not even seeing the stonework because I cover up all the stones with those ivy. But here's the kitchen. This is the layout it basically is, but it does change slightly. And there is a guided tour at the end of this speed build, so you will see what it actually, like the final product looks like, because I did cut out a lot. I cut out a lot of decorating, and I cut out a lot of the landscaping because it was just too much, and it was a lot of scrolling through the menu and alt placing and control 9ing things that they fit on the shelves correctly. So I didn't keep all that in there. I edited that out so I can make the video a little bit shorter, just because nobody wants to sit and watch these videos for 30 minutes and just listen to somebody talk. I mean, it's one thing if you're Twitch streaming, because that's live and you can talk to the person that's doing it. But if you're just watching these, it's different. But that's neither here nor there. So once I figured out where the kitchen was going, I was able to figure out where my windows were going to go, and then I could figure out how my exterior painting is going to look, where I'm placing the wallpapers and the textures. So I go with kind of that gray stone with a pale wood paneling, and that gray that you see right there doesn't stay. I don't like it. It looks kind of weird. So I went with more of a log cabin-y thing. I think this came from Outdoor Retreat. So I went with kind of a log cabin dark brown there just to have some contrast of the light and the dark. And I really like how that turned out. So yeah, I'm glad I did that. I put the plants over the stonework because I felt that the plants realistically would grab onto the stones a little bit better than they would the wood. So here I'm placing the tile for the whole wraparound porch and the upstairs balcony. And I went with kind of a stone tile. Again, I wanted to keep it kind of natural outside. I didn't want it to be poured concrete, and I didn't want wood because wood can warp and you have to keep it treated. So I was like, stone would be easiest. So we just went with stone. And it matched the upstairs railing. I did a half wall with the same stone wallpaper that I did on the side with all the ivy on it. Now this freaking the vent fan just would not work. I liked it because it had a light on it, but I went with my old classic one because that one is reliable and it works all the time. So yay! You guys noticed that I placed that fire alarm, and we talked about this in my last video, but now those fire alarms are actually going to be useful because firemen are coming back. So back to the build. Curtains, I had different curtains, but they didn't work because that one window is diagonal and they wouldn't expand. For some reason on diagonals, windows get bigger, but the curtains don't. I find that really weird. They should. So I went with a different curtain. And this bathroom kind of gave me a little bit of trouble. It has been play tested. It does work, which I also talk about in the guided tour. But I realized the sink I choose, right here, way too big for this bathroom. But I use the tiny living toilet because you can just, it's basically a half tile wide. And so you can scooch it almost all the way up to the edge and you have all this extra room. So yeah, I use that toilet, but I realized that having the shower across from this massive sink is you're not going to have enough room to get into the shower because I put a barrier up. You can see it right there. I don't keep that barrier. I don't like that one. I feel because that one doesn't actually block water from getting any other place. So yeah, change the sink. I'm about to change the barrier because actually, no, I'm about to change literally everything. Yeah, that's the new barrier. I like this barrier. It's glass. It makes sense. So here I'm about to, I'm trying to figure out how to place it. And then I'm just like, this isn't working. But I can't get it far enough out for it to actually make it look like it's not sticking out of the wall there. So I'm like, you know what, let's move the shower over to this side because I can slide the barrier farther into the wall here and you won't see it. So it didn't matter. And the sink that I chose, the second sink, is a lot smaller. So it does work much, much better in this itty bitty bathroom, and it works. So there's no issue walking through this little itty bitty bathroom. I do like the decorations in here. I tried to keep it really kind of neutral and a lot of green with the plants. So whatever, that bathroom's done. I think, okay, I'm up at the bedroom now. And I found these lights they come with the free holiday pack update or whatever. It's not really a pack, but it has a little holiday symbol on it. It would be a pack. It's not though. I don't know. So I liked those, wanted them in the bedroom. And I had a bunch of issues with the bed, mostly because I had to kind of slide it through the wall so you could have enough room for the sim to walk through. I have this half wall, and half wall was a bad idea in the first place. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just gone with a banister and called it a day. I keep having to slide the bed through, and you get this clipping. So I'm like, you know what? I know what to do here. I'm going to put down the flower arranging station. You can't even see it. And because I'm choosing beds that are white and pink specifically, it makes it look like the bed is part of the flower arranging station, which is great. It's like camouflage. So out here, this is, I think, my favorite part of the whole build. I mean, on the last shell challenge I did for Agent of Mischief, I had a flower arranging place and it was kind of fenced in like this. And that was also my favorite part, but I don't know why. I don't have a green thumb. I can't keep a plant alive to save my life. So, I mean, but in The Sims, they're so decorative and it just looks so lively and pretty. And I don't know, it's my favorite part, easily my favorite part. My Sim has used all these planters I think I put 2 more up here in a little bit. And they're all just filled with flowers. So you'll see that in the walkthrough as well. And just this whole area, it's just serene. I could just lie there and take in the sun and just be with the flowers forever. I don't know. So anyway, that's kind of that station. I'm still adding more flowers, more planters. I had a little bit of trouble with that other corner. It's kind of empty right now. Just because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to put there. I wanted something kind of tall. So I scrolled through a bunch of things and nothing really jumped out to me. I did eventually put down a tree, I think, after putting down several other things, of course. But yeah, no, every surface is filled with things, flowers, flower tools, all of that. And I really love how this turned out. It's very, very secret garden-y. Like, you can't get to this without going through the house and upstairs through the bedroom. I mean, this is definitely her private domain for flower arranging. And then, of course, back here I have a lounge area. So this house can fit 2 Sims, again, because there's the queen bed. I've got, there's a bunch of places for 2 Sims. There's 2 places to eat. There's a lot of outdoor space and a lot of sitting area eventually that you'll see. So now I'm just trying to get, decorative items in here. And again, I'm going with, upstairs is more of the pink and purple, and downstairs is more of the blue and purple. So yeah, I wanted to have a contrast of the upstairs and the downstairs where it still works with the floor. As you can kind of see it there, that there's a little bit of pink in the floor. It's a very pretty floor. I didn't even know that it was part of that pack. It's the floor. It's one of the swatches for the Jungle Adventure wood flooring. And I always use the dark swatch. Like, I don't even think about looking at the other swatches, which that's my mistake, because I could have been using this floor all along. I wanted to add some extra storage areas, so I'm adding shelves. Because I feel like in a tiny house, you'd have a ton of shelves. Like, you'd have a ton of places to put, things for storage. Like, you have to, because there's just not enough actual storage place for normal things. And this is about the only time you see me placing things on those shelves, just because, again, I did not keep a lot of the decoration placing because it was a lot of scrolling through the menu, a lot of alt placing, and a lot of control 9ing just to get things in the right height. So that was the only clip you saw of me actually doing that. I liked these lights, so I felt like adding that added a little bit of whimsy to the interior. And here I'm adding some kitchen decorations that would make sense in this tiny build. So my Sim uses that corner for cooking, and I end up putting a sink. I don't think you see me put a sink in here, but I put a sink on that bar to the right of the stove, like the counter bar top to the right of the stove, so that you have a place to wash your dishes. I might change those frames around, the ones that I just placed. Those are debug, and I wanted them to kind of go up the wall, but I think I should have had 3 vertical instead of 2 vertical and 1 horizontal. I think that would have made more sense. So this is pretty much the interior. I don't do much else to it except for change the bar around, but I don't think you guys see that. So now I'm on the exterior, and I have the outdoor grill. I love that outdoor grill. That's probably one of my favorite. Definitely my favorite grill because of how nicely it ties into the counters. And here I go with the little Simsy shrubbery trick, trying to get the boundaries of your garden going. This is the only landscaping you're going to see me do on the ground, because I do more landscaping, but it's just too much to have in a video, just way too much. We don't need all that. So, and besides, it's the same thing over and over again. Like I said, I'm picking the same 4 or 5 flowers, the same 3 shrubberies, or 2 shrubberies really. No, it's 3. It's 3. And a couple of trees that I'm surrounding, and then I do some terrain paint. I mean, it's not really a whole lot to see, but it does look really cool. So yeah, and okay, so those flowers I just placed are hydrangeas, and I love hydrangeas. I could have put some pink ones down, but I did all white hydrangeas because I used a lot of colorful flowers, so I wanted one flower that wasn't overly colorful. I eventually discover the green foliage, and I'm like, oh, I gotta use this. I think that's heather. It's very pretty. I like having that splash of purple. And again, it makes it, the secret garden vibe. I swear there should be a counter at the end of this video. How many times do I say secret garden? See, I learned my lesson. I went ahead and I waited until after I did the landscaping on the ground floor before I did the foundation. So here it is. I put in half walls. I like half walls better than the banisters. I know some people don't, but Usually the counters kind of clip into them like walls. It didn't that time, which was annoying, but I don't know. I liked it better. Now, this is interesting. So this is actually where I placed the living room stuff. So I put a couch and a nice little chair out there. And on that diagonal wall, I put a TV because it works because it's underneath the ceiling. And I talk about that in the guided tour. Because it's under the ceiling, it's not going to get hit by rain, so it'll work. And I think it's a really cute little sitting area / living room because there was no room inside to put it. So, I mean, it makes sense and it's really cute. And more blue outside. Now, this is where, so this is the actual patio. That was the porch that I just finished. You can see over there, I've got a treadmill. Around that corner, there's an easel. So I've got some skill building things out there. I did not put like a chess table or anything like that, but there is space if you want to put one. Got to move the pink tree, but I love that pink tree, and I thought that it really went with this build too. And I felt like this should have a hot tub on it because this build could be, you know, a one-person house or it could be a two-person, like a couple living here. And I felt having a hot tub would make sense because, I mean, there are no children that live here unless you expand, but I couldn't do that. Again, this was a shell challenge. I couldn't change the exterior walls. I put the bees down and some, I think more. Do I put the, no, I put like 4 more of the planters down, but I was originally just going to put like one of those fire pits back there and have some chairs around it, but I decided against doing that and added around that tree more garden. So it's basically like this path, but I don't use that path. It's basically a path that kind of curves around that garden area up to where the gate is and then back to the front, the front deck area. And there's another garden, like another flower area around where the pink tree is. And there's in that little green triangle there, I put some plants as well so it doesn't look so out of place. This is where I'm placing the lights, and oh my gosh, this house at night is gorgeous. So you'll see it in just a second. And I did some control 9ing here so I could get the lights to kind of sit like in the fence. Here it is at night. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's the lights in the flowers almost look like, I don't know, but anyway, I extend the patio out to the fence line there. There's a trash can tucked up behind there. They're the flowers that you didn't see me plant, but again, it's all the same ones. It looks the same everywhere else, but it's just super secret garden-y. I've said it. That was my last time. So up next is the guided build tour. I hope you enjoy it. All right, so let's get started with the guided tour. This build was, this is a completed version of Agent of Mischief's Tiny Shell Challenge. So without further ado, let's go in. Again, because this was small, it doesn't have space for everything that you'd want to have in your house. So I had to be a little bit creative with space. Outside is actually where her living room is, where her TV is. And this furniture here is meant to be outside. And this TV does work even when it rains because it is underneath a ceiling. So let's go inside. I love this front door, by the way. I think it's super cute. In here, we just have the kitchen and the office reading nook area. Again, had to use this space really, really creatively. So I try to make it look like it's been lived in. There's clutter, or not clutter, yes, but it's organized. It's not messy. Oops, left a plate there. I've had to live in this house for a bit. Like I've had to have a sim live here and play through here for a little while because I started early spring and the plants weren't pretty, and I wanted it to be pretty for this guided tour. But these 2 seats do work, even with the sink here. So both of those seats at this counter work, so you can have a sim eat there. I have this little stack of books here with notes on there. Not sure if she wants to go to college or what. I'm talking about my sim here, sorry. I have had her live here for a little while. And these are my sim's knickknacks. And this is pretty much the living area for downstairs. So let's go into the only bathroom in the house. It's through this door here. This is a small bathroom, but it has been play tested. Everything in this house works. You can use the sink, the toilet, and even the shower. I love these showers. Thank goodness for Discover University. They've really, really made building these tiny bathrooms very, very easy. Okay, so let's go and look upstairs before we go outside and see the outside, because the outside's the best, my favorite part anyway. While I like the interior, I do really like the outside. So this is the landing. The upstairs is basically her bedroom. And I went with more of like a purple and pink color scheme up here rather than a purple and blue like downstairs. Purple and blue was, and I went with that because this flooring here, while it's gray, it's got accents of blue, accents of pink, and accents of purple. And so the walls are kind of this almost lilac-y, purpley gray. So I, again, went with more pink accents, more pink color up here, and more blue downstairs, but with the purple. And I changed this bed after I had already done the speed build, because there was a piece of it that was kind of poking out. And I also changed this from a half wall to the railing here, because you couldn't get a sim by here to go out this door. So I had to change that. It does work. So let's go out onto the patio. Well, this is really more of a balcony, but you've got a little lounging area out here. Again, some plants. There's a lot of plants in this build, and I love the fact that they've got so many options for different kinds of plants, because it makes these gardening areas super cute. This is where she does most of her gardening and all of her flower arranging. So all of these potted plants have flowers in them. Again, it's more mid-spring now, but the plants still look kind of gross. These are all the decorative plants. You got to add some decorative plants to these areas to make them look good. And this is the flower arranging station. As you can see, my sim's been working here for a little bit. So this is a really nice work area, and these plants get watered because it's just sky. It's just sky above them. So if it rains, then they get water, which is good. I really like how this build came out. It's got very much like fairy tale, almost secret garden vibes, and I think it's super fun. So let's go and take a look outside. So we just have to go down these stairs here and then take a left through the door down here. Okay. And as you can see, there's a lot more blue in the decorations down here. All right, so let's go out this door. I did change this from a treadmill to a yoga mat. I just felt like my sim was more of a would do more like yoga rather than run on a treadmill in one place. I just felt like this atmosphere really kind of lends itself to it. So this is the patio and the back deck. There's a grill with some countertops here that you can cook outside, and we got the hot tub, and there's a place down here with seating. I did add these lights in afterwards because I realized at night it was still a little dark. I added a ton of lights back here, so it looks really great at night. I'll take some pictures and post them to my Tumblr for you guys. And then back here, this is where it gets really secret garden-y. Here, you can meditate. There's some more planter boxes here. This is just super overgrown with flowers, and I love how this looked. And of course, got this beautiful pink tree here. And if you follow this path, and it's lit as well, so you've got all these flowers on this side, and it leads you down this way toward the gate, but there's also some, beekeeping stands here, bee houses, and more flowers, more places to plant things. And this is basically the build. So if you enjoyed this video, enjoyed this build, it is available on my gallery page. So if you want to download it, you can get it. You just have to search my name. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you for watching.